wonderful community. And it's really an honor to be presenting something in front of all of you guys. So just a quick intro about me, and then we are good to roll. Let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we are doing.
Okay.
Yes, we are able
So quick intro about me. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer from last 10 plus years. I have been into IT industry since 99 2000 and have seen the Microsoft platform working on novel netware, true ring topology to the days when today Windows is being delivered from the cloud environments in form of the VDI and Windows 365 environments. Even the VMware clouds are taken up to the Microsoft environments, and you are having in the VMware workstations and VMware resources being delivered from the Microsoft, AWS, and GCP platforms. So presently, I hold 25 certifications from Microsoft under my belt that cover the data community, that cover in the security part. So proud to say that I'm one of the 1,700 professionals across the globe who are certified on the entire Microsoft security track. So I have all the certifications in Microsoft security track, starting from the SC 900 to the SC 100, the AZ 500, the security part in terms of your Microsoft Entra Administrator, Microsoft Security Operations Analyst, Microsoft Information Protection Administration. So I do work upon that cloud security and GCP environment. I'm a certified GCP PCA and ACE, Professional Cloud Engineer and Associate Cloud Associate for that. Apart from Microsoft and Google, I also have certificates from Red Hat. I'm a Red Hat certified engineer, and I'm a Cisco certified network associate, more onto the routing and switching part, RNS and RNS security. So as of now, I'm working up as a data professional, as a cloud agnostic person who assists organizations across the globe in data migration, in asset migration, and the cloud migration scenarios. So majorly, my work involves the lift and shift operations, which helps organizations to take up their workloads. That may be the Windows servers, Linux servers, or maybe some legacy applications, line of business applications that run on the traditional hardware. My core expertise before moving on to the cloud was the Spark servers. So I used to be working upon the Solaris Spark and the Solaris 10 and Solaris 11 environments. Now I'm fully into the data science, data engineering, and using up that data science knowledge in terms of getting in the security analysis, SOC analysis. So I work upon the SOC level 1, SOC level 2, and SOC level 3. All the three levels of SOC, I assist the organizations in getting in the cybersecurity. So data analysis, not just limited to the data, but also moving into the security analysis part. So that's too much about me. Let's move on to our discussion of the day, that is getting accustomed or understanding how Microsoft Power Platform can help us in doing up our routine jobs in a simplified fashion. So my first question to all of you, how many of you are aware of what is Power Platform? Can you just quickly give me a thumbs up or a raise a hand that how many of you are aware of Power Platform? What is Power Platform? We can keep on interacting. That's okay. I prefer to.
Aware of Power Platform, Vic.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So Power Platform is a kind of low code, no code tool. So it's having overall 5 tools. Begin with Power BI, Automate, Power Virtual Agents, and Copilot Studio.
Okay. So you took something as PVA and Copilot. Any difference between the two, or they are the same? Copilot agents is the new name of the PVA, the Power Virtual Agents.
No, actually, they are the same. Initially, they call it. I forgot one thing. Power Pages is the recent tool in the Power Platform. Power Pages. It's a kind of website building application.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Thank you for sharing the inputs. See, when we talk about the Microsoft Power Platform, so the name itself says Power Platform. What is the power of this platform? Power Platform is an environment that is provided by Microsoft to assist organizations for getting in things from no code or low code format. It is like development for the non-developers. Majority of the times, we maybe as a data engineer, or maybe as a security engineer, or maybe as a service engineer, we are dependent upon the developers in our organization to provide us a tool. We are dependent upon them to get us a tool that will be helping in getting our day-to-day routine jobs simplified. This is where Microsoft came up with a solution called up as a Power Platform. And this Power Platform helps managers or the non-developers. This is mainly a platform developed for non-developers. So development for non-developers. Okay, so when we are talking about this development for non-developers, this is where the Power Platform comes up as a handy environment. So typically, when you talk about the development environment, you need so many tools. You require a database server, you require a development language, you require something in terms of your compilers, linkers, debuggers, or you require an integrated development environment. Those kind of things are required. What do we need for Power Platform? If anybody can tell me, you can drop in a message on the chat. What do we need for Power Platform? Anything specific required for Power Platform? For developing applications in Power Platform or creating anything in Power Platform? What do we need? The only thing that you need for
a language or something platform.
Nothing. That's the beauty of Power Platform. You don't need to know any programming language. You don't need to know any kind of database knowledge. That's the beauty. This is no code. No code means I don't have to write even a single line of code there. Power Platform does what? The only thing that you require for working on Power Platform is a web browser with the HTML5 and JavaScript enabled there. Any web browser that is having HTML5 and JavaScript. These are the only two components that you need for developing in your Power Platform environment. See, Power Platform consists of multiple components, where we will be talking about mainly one component, that is Power Apps. In Power Apps also, especially the Canvas apps. When we talk about the Power Platform is having first component, Power Apps. Second, we call up as Pages, now called up as Websites or simply the Power Web. Third thing is Power Apps, Power Pages, and Agents. Previously, this was called up as a Power Agents. Now Microsoft has taken up this whole Power Agents stack and placed it into the Copilot Studio. So the no-code agent development part that we have on Microsoft, that is now available through the Power Virtual Agents, previously known, now called up as the Copilot Studio or the Copilot Agents. So that Power Virtual Agents PVA, which was earlier called up, now known up as Copilot Studio or simply the Copilot Agents. Here we have one more thing called up as Power Automate, which allows you to write your own workflows. You say something when this happens, when a mail is arrived, when someone submitted a form, when someone registered for the app, when someone registered for the event. So I do not want to go and fetch the details from the teams and then get this information. I want that whenever a form is submitted, automatically the details of that should be added into my database, who all are going to attend. And a day before the event or an hour before the event, an automated mail should go to them. And for all this, I don't require any developer. This is what we do by using in the Power Automate. So Power Automate is for automation, writing in the workflows. Power Apps, which are further of two types. So when we talk about Power Apps, one is referred up as model-driven applications, and second one is called up as Canvas apps. So we have one app which is called up as model driven and second called up as the Canvas apps. In terms of model driven applications, they are limited to only one type of data source. They cannot look multiple data sources. They cannot connect to multiple data sources. The only kind of data source a model driven application can connect is Microsoft Dataverse. The only kind of data source that could be used with model driven applications is depending upon a Dataverse there. And what is Dataverse? In very simple layman terms, you can say Dataverse is Microsoft's solution to handling data sets for its entire Entra ID, for its entire Dynamics 365 environment, which covers in the Dynamics supply chain, Dynamics finance, which covers in the Dynamics business, Dynamics functional, everything which is a part of the Dynamics that maintains data here in the Dataverse. The entire Power BI, it maintains its data into the Dataverse. When you talk about the Microsoft Power Platform, it maintains the data into the Dataverse. Entire Entra ID scenario or the metadata of your Microsoft Graph or MS Graph, that also goes up into this Dataverse. That's on a very broader level. Getting into the details, maybe some other day we have some other in-depth session, then we'll talk about like how all these things depend upon the Dataverse. But as of now, we can say that this Dataverse is a cloud-hosted solution where I can put my data without knowing the nitty-gritties of DBMS or RDBMS management, without getting into the understanding of how you have to work upon a SQL server or an Oracle or any other kind of database management system. You say that I want 5 columns. I want this of integer, this one of number, this is text, this is Boolean, this is this. Simply you can create in your table by defining in your Dataverse environments. So when we develop the model-driven applications, all the model-driven applications, they use Dataverse as a base component. Whereas Canvas applications, they can connect up to 1600 different types of data connectors that are available in Microsoft Power Platform environment. 463 connectors are out of box and others can be added by using in a custom connector. So 463 connectors are here, which is out of box connectors that directly can be connected to the Canvas app. So you want to get data from your own Excel file. You want to get data from your Fabric community, from the Fabric environment. You want to get the data from your different sources, let's say Oracle. You want to get data from SharePoint. All those things you can do by using in the Canvas apps. Whereas in case of model-driven applications, you require a Dataverse environment as a mandate. Without having access to Dataverse environment, you cannot create a model-driven application. Okay, so here our today's topic mainly, which is the Canvas-driven applications, which allows us to have in our own creativity. They helps us to show the creativity there. I can have my own style, my own presentation, my own data sets connected to it. So in terms of Canvas apps, you can get data from SharePoint connectors, you can get data from your Outlook, you can get data from your OneDrive, you can get data from your Excel files, you can get data from your on-prem files also, but for that, we require something else, an additional connector in between, which is called up as your on-prem gateway. So if the files are stored in your local on-premises file server, then in that case, you require a gateway which will be facilitating this connectivity to refresh the data from your local file servers. Otherwise, if your data is in your Azure Data Lake, if the data is in your Azure blob containers, or the files are simply into your SharePoint, you have SharePoint list, you can directly connect in your Canvas applications to that. Okay. I believe the broader difference between the model application and Canvas apps is clear to all of us. Can you give me a quick thumbs up that we are clear on the difference? Okay. So when we are going to use in the Canvas apps will be used when in case you want to use these kind of handheld devices, which is called up as your mobile or tablet. So if you are developing an application to be consumed on a handheld, low power, low connectivity device, your iPhone, your iPad, your Samsung Tab, your any kind of Android device, you are going to develop the things using in your Canvas apps. But when in case I want to create in the backend application that will be mainly running on the desktop, though we can run model apps also on the mobile. But mainly we develop the model applications for background or the back office. This is for the front office or the front desk. So mainly the technicians, the front desk executives who are there, they prefer to use in or they are using in this Canvas apps. Let's take in a real-time scenario. Let's take in a scenario where I would be utilizing it. Scenario would be like, let's say, we want to develop a company or we are working for an organization that is supplying plants as decorative items to the various corporate parties, or they are also providing in plants to anybody who wants to use the real plants during their functions or during their parties. For this, let's say Vivek here makes a call to the ABC Corporation. Okay. Vivek calls to ABC Corporation, the executive who receives the call. He or she punches in some details on a screen where it generates in, let's say, a request that Vivek wants 20 palm trees, some sunflower plants, some plants for dahlias, some plants for lilies and all. So Vivek wants to showcase these set of plants in his party or in his family function. Vivek does not have the plants at his home. So when he is having in a function, Vivek wants that these plants be used for decoration or should be there in the event. What Vivek does is Vivek simply makes in a call to the ABC Corporation. Here the executive punches in these details in application. Once these are punched in, now the executive who is going to look up or the inspector who is going to check up at the site, he goes in and he says that, okay, Mr. Vivek, you have raised in a request for using plants for this function. Let me have a look at the site. And once I have a site look, on the basis of that, I will advise you that how many bouquets or how many pots of sunflower or how many pots of roses or how many pots of lilies would be better to utilize at this location. So now this person who is having a mobile in his hand, an Android or an iPhone or a tablet or a Samsung tab in his hand, he comes up to my site, he inspects up my place, he says that, okay, you have a space of 1600 square yards. And in the 1600 square yards, I would suggest you have 20 rose plants, you have 70 this, 17 this, all that kind of identification he does. And then he places in a request or he says that, okay, inspection done. And on the basis of this, I identify that Mr. Vivek would be requiring these things. So that when the shipment happens, so what is happening in this case, you notice this person who is coming up with the handheld device, he does not have a direct connectivity to the organization servers. And he is not directly accessing the things over a standard application. So that's a point where we would be utilizing in this thing, which is called up as a Canvas app. Because here I can customize the layout. Here I can change in the way things will be happening. So everything that is happening on my mobile, I can have in a local cache maintained on here that could be using in the mobile's local storage or other components. That's where the Canvas applications would be helpful. Okay, whereas what this person at the desk is doing it, he is simply using in a model driven application, which is based upon a data source, and it immediately creates in a layout without writing even a single line of code there. That is where the model driven apps. So for this backend operation, model apps are good. And for the field executives, the executives who are using in the low power and low storage devices compared to these ones would be utilizing in the Canvas apps. Got it? When to use Canvas and when to use a model. Identifying that is the most important thing before diving deep into like, okay, what type of app development you should learn. Okay, so here, the first thing that we do is we connect to the data. How many? 463 out-of-box data connectors are there. Plus, Canvas apps can extend up to 1600 plus data connectors there. So it can connect to these many data sources from where the Canvas apps can look up in the data. Based on this data that you have connected, you can create in your form, you can create in your gallery, you can create in the user interactive screens and doing the things. Okay, so before I explain the things, let me just do one thing. Let me just quickly show you this in action. Before we get into the discussions about like, okay, how this is happening, how that is happening, let's take in a quick look on this app here. So what I'll do is I'll go to, so what you require is, the first thing is make.powerapps.com. Can I sign in onto this Power Apps portal with my personal email address? Can I register on this with my personal email address? No. The answer is
No.
So the answer is we cannot sign in with the personal email address. All you require is you require an enterprise email address, or you require an enterprise account, because Power Platform is a solution available only to enterprises. This is an additional license to your M365 E5 license, E3 license, Business 3 license, or a Business 5 license, or maybe EMS plus security, whatever license you are having. This is an additional component to that. So your organization need to have an additional licensing for it. Okay. So now here there are two methods. First, I can just simply sign in here. So when I am on the landing page of my Power Platform, here I have one option on top. This is referred up as environment. If you want to develop a model driven application, so model driven application means I require Dataverse. And for Dataverse, you need to have an environment that is supporting Dataverse there. If the Dataverse is not supported in the environment that you are using, you cannot create a model-driven application. So for model-driven app, first thing is you need to ask your IT administrator or the Power Platform administrator to create an environment which will be having Dataverse associated with it. If the Dataverse is not associated, we cannot create model-driven applications. Okay. Second thing, if I want to create in a Canvas app, all I need is click on this create button. Now it is asking me some options, what I want to do. I want to start, if you have Copilot, if the Copilot license is assigned to your account, you will see this option start with Copilot here. But if your account does not have the Copilot license, you will not see this. So you can say start with data, start with the page design, start with a blank canvas. Other than that, you also have an option creating in a Copilot agent, creating in a flow, creating in AI. This is connecting to the Microsoft AI agents or the AI Hub, Azure AI agents there. This is where the Power websites, Power Pages are called up as a website. There are some applications available from the templates also. Like I want to book in a conference room, I want to book in a meeting room. So for that purpose, there are some apps available as a template. I don't want to use in these template ones. I just want to create in a blank application. So firstly, let me just see if I have any apps available here. So here, if you see in my listing, I have some apps where some are created years ago, and there is one NGDC demo an hour ago, SPSET that is in 50 minutes ago. And if I see both of them are what type of applications, these are Canvas apps. This one, which I have created an year ago, this is simply a model driven app. Okay, so if I just go into this SPSET app, the page that we are seeing on here, this page is called up as your Power Apps Studio. So for Power Apps Studio, you don't require any special application. Only application that you require is a web browser that is capable of handling the content of type HTML5 and JavaScript. So here, this is a simple application which is having just one screen and there is a screen container. I will just simply click on this play button and this gives me an app available. And here, if I click, see what we have some items, demo 1, test, speaker. I just click on this new. This allows me to add in a new item. I'll call it this item as say demo 2. The part of this item, this is going to be MacBook M4 and the unit price is $2,600. Okay. If I need to attach any file, I can do that also. I just said save, the record got added, and I got in a listing also updated on in here. Simple, an app is working. And the moment, see here, the app which is presently on your screen, this is a responsive app. How I got to know that this is a responsive app? All you need to do is you need to just look up here on top next to the cross button. So here, if you see, this is presently in a window size. If you click on here, you have the different mobile designs. I said that this is for iPhone 12, 13, 14. The app gets converted into this. So this is the layout of my application change accordingly, according to the device. Similarly, when you publish it, so if I click on this button, which is called up as publish the app, I will be able to access this application immediately on my phone. Immediately on my phone, we can access this app. What we require, all you need is you need to install Power Apps container on your Android or iOS device. So on your Android, you go to Play Store, Google Play Store, and from there download the Power Apps container. Or if you are working on iPhone, iPad OS, go to the Apple App Store and from App Store download in the Power Apps container. So that Power Apps container will allow you to have in all the authentication, authorization. We don't have to worry about it. See how simple the things are. I don't have to worry about it. Like, okay, how to ensure the authentication, how to ensure in the proper organization level security is enforced, how to ensure in that what is the type of data loss prevention or the DLP policies enforcement. Nothing. That's not my headache. Because I am not a developer. I am simply consuming in the power which is offered by Microsoft. And how much time did it took me to create this application? You won't believe. It took me only 5 minutes to develop this application. Only 5 minutes, believe me. All I did is I clicked on this create and I said that start with data. Okay. The moment I said start with data, so first I'll do one thing. I'll go to my ATS. That's my SharePoint portal. And here in this SharePoint portal, I have done one thing. I just created I'll show you from start what I did. I went into SharePoint. You can ask your SharePoint admin to create an communication site for you. And I'll just use a blank one. And here I'll just use the blank template, give it a name. I'll call it as NGDC demo 01 description for demo. And this is what my site address got generated. So this is something that why I said that I don't have to worry about the data loss prevention and those GLP policies and all, because here itself, when creating in the site, I have the sensitivity labels available. So this is where the SharePoint admin or your data admin will simply enforce in the security or the sensitivity to it, based on which this particular SharePoint site, if there is anything that is beyond the security, will be automatically blocked or will be restricted. This is where simply a site got created, a SharePoint site. And on this SharePoint site, all I need is I need a list. Okay. This is where I'm going to create in a list or a form or a gallery or a calendar, whatever you want. You can even import the data from your Excel files. You can import the data from your on-premises CSV files or existing list. So if I simply say create, that's where I'll just give it a name as NGDC1 and create. The only thing that I did is I just defined this SharePoint list. Even if in case I have not defined the SharePoint list, I just have the SharePoint site name. Power Apps is smart enough, it can create it for you. If I say that come here and on our previous page, I say that just start with Copilot, and here I type in an entry, okay, create, because I have Copilot license. So you can take leverage of this also. If you have Copilot license, you can do it. Create a app that uses SharePoint list to store asset details and have 3 screens. Okay. The screen 1, landing page with 2 buttons. Button 1, add record to SharePoint list. Button 2, show records. Okay. So this is the screen 1, the screen 2, add record form, screen 3, show records. Just simple. I just wrote in a basic prompt. Because I asked in my prompt that use a SharePoint list. So all it is doing is it's asking me for the SharePoint URL. What is the URL of that SharePoint site where you want this to be created? I'll just go in, looking for this here. That's the URL of my SharePoint. I'll just paste up this URL here. Okay. So I'll say connect. Okay. And this is where the list that we have imported. It just got it. Now it's asking me to create in a table. What all fields you want to have in this table here? There is only one field. You want to add more fields here, you can just connect it to others. You can bring in more. You can add in more tables here. So describe a new table and that table will be added. Create a file and that file will be connected. As of now, here I'm just taking this. I say save and open the app. Save it. This goes in, creates in, and my app is generated. Okay. Notice what I got. Failed to create the table. Why? Because we have already created that list here. So record which is already existing cannot be created again. Okay. But if I go back in here, okay, I'll just say close it, go back, leave and discard this table because I already have a table here. Start with data. Now this is where you say that create new tables or select existing table. You select the tables from Dataverse. So all the table names what you are getting here, mostly what we require account, login, logout, sessions, all that data is here already. 112 plus out-of-box tables are provided in your Power Platform connector. So we can use in the tables which are already existing, or I can connect to external data. Now, what are the external data sources I can connect? From SharePoint, from Excel online, not the Excel local on my machine. So if I'm using in the local Excel, sorry, for that I require in a gateway. We require in app gateway, which will be connected to our local on-premises servers. So on-prem gateway will be required if you are using in the local. So here this Excel is Excel online. Anything that you have saved on the Excel online, that will be presented here. And this is from your SQL server. If this SQL server is on-premises, again, you require in a on-prem gateway there. Whereas if in case this is in Azure, you can directly get connected to it. Okay, so I'll say from SharePoint, we'll again paste back that SharePoint URL, search in, select the site, select in your list, create the app. How much time it took me? Hardly 2 minutes. And we have our landing page generated. Our app is ready. And this app is having in all the functionalities of searching a record, deleting a record, adding a new record, everything for us. So if you have Copilot license and you are not very much sure like how to do the things around, all you have to do is you just simply come in here. Now, once we come in here, if I click on this plus button, I got the code like, okay, how to add in the new record there. If I click on this edit button, I got in the code for updating in the records. If I click on this delete button, I got in the code for deleting the objects. You got in the basic codes? Okay, good, great. Just simply copy it. So select this code, the component, go into this address bar, copy it, paste it into your text editor for your reference in future. So when you are doing it, the customization at your own level, you can take in the reference, okay, for updating the context, this was the code, for deleting the record, this was the function, because remembering everything might not be easy at the beginning. Though when you start working in the Power Apps, this is pretty easy. If you have worked in Excel, you have worked in Power BI, DAX is more complex than the Power FX functions. So in Power BI, in Power Apps, what we do is we simply use in the Power FX functions. Okay. Yeah, if we creating in something new, then we'll have to delete the existing table and then we can create the new one. Otherwise, you can just simply work on the data sets there. So I believe this makes a lot of things much easier to understand now. Okay. So what we have in our Canvas apps, a Canvas app, first thing that it requires is a Power Apps Maker portal, which is nothing else but make.powerapps.com. You require an organization account to sign in or enable the trial for Power Apps there. You can even enable the Power Apps trial for your organization. Then Power Apps Studio. So that's a place where we did all the activity. The entire action that we did, that action was on here. And the third app, Power Apps Mobile. So Power Apps Mobile is something that will be deployed on your handheld device. You have to install it in your mobile, in your iPad, in your Android. And this is available from the App Store or Play Store. You just simply get the Power Apps from there. So let's just understand what these things are. This is our canvas. So this part we call it as the canvas. Here we have the properties. This is called up as a property palette. And this section is where we have the list of components. So here we have all our component list. The components that you can add, the drag and drop. Like we work in HTML editors, you drag a component and drop it onto the HTML page and the page gets generated. This is like the set of components that you want to have in your app. Okay. So left panel, this is where the hierarchical list of all the components, middle is your canvas and right is your properties of the canvas. Okay, give me a second. So what we do as a low code, because as a traditional developer, what we need to learn JavaScript, learn VB script, learn ASP.NET, JSP, Java, Python, Django, Cake PHP, Flask, React, Node.js, all that to get into the component development or developing the front end. Here, you don't have to do it. Whole power of your Canvas apps comes from this PowerFX functions. So PowerFX, these are the functions, various. That's why, because of the use of these functions, we call it up as low code. The low code concept is because of these PowerFX functions. So we use the PowerFX functions for getting in the low coding environment. And these are more or less similar to having your Excel functions there. So as you write functions in Excel, the same way we use it here. They can be used in for Power Apps and applications can be modified by using it. You want to get more details. Here is a link on your screen that you can refer from the Microsoft Learn, which will give you more information about the low code as a traditional developer. So if you want, you can take a screenshot of this link also. This will help you to get in more details from the Microsoft Learn modules. So what is a low code? Where I don't have to write everything from the scratch, just basic tidbits, basic changes here and there, and the job is done for us. So I want to look for this, I want to look for that. You are getting in that information here. Okay. So how we do the customization of our apps? This is where we are using in the layout changes, controlling the things, and working on these platforms. Okay, so let's just quickly see again now how we can do it from the scratch. Last time, what I did is I just did it directly by using in the data source. This time, let's begin with a blank canvas. How much time will it take to create in an application? Let's create in a basic application that uses 3 pages. One page as a landing page, and from there we do in the navigation and create in a component that will be using in the company branding on all the 3 pages there. Shall we do it? Let's try it. So you are getting 3 options here. First is for defining in a particular phone layout. If I know that all my employees are developing, they are using an iPhone 16 Pro Max, so let's build it for that particular size. If I know that everybody is working upon a tablet, iPad 11 or Samsung S10, then develop it for that. Or you can create in a responsive one that automatically gets adjusted according to the layout. So when you want to develop something that will be automatically adjusting to the web browser, to the tablet, or to the mobile, that's where we are going to use it. So here we have 3 things. First is, this is the tree view where you are going to get the details of all your screen. Right hand side is the properties. Here is our formula bar. We call it up as a power effects bar. And here you have a list of the context menus. Anything that is beginning with a on keyword, this is a method or an event associated with the component. Okay. Whatever you are getting in is like on hidden, on visible. So when this page is hidden, when this page is visible, when this app is launched, these are the methods or these are the events associated with it. All these are the properties. If I select the app, now we are getting in the app properties. So you have multiple screens, or I'll say you have multiple pages, and you want to make one of the page as the landing page or the home page. This you do by selecting your app and changing in the start screen property to the name of that screen. It is always a good practice. You have screen 1. I can bring another screen. So that could be a blank, a split, sidebar. These are the different layouts of the screens that you can have. So email, people, calendar, meeting, even getting in the data from Power BI and showing in those Power BI charts also can be done in here. So if I say blank, this is going to be adding in another screen. That's a screen 2. Likewise, I say one more screen, another blank screen, a screen 3. Think of a scenario where your application is now having 50 plus screens. While referring them in your code, how difficult it would be to identify them. Or you want to work upon which screen there. That will be pretty challenging. So that's what we do is, as a good practice, the moment we start our development, we say that follow a naming convention. It could be any naming convention that you follow. I prefer to use in a convention that says that the purpose of the screen and the components. So SCR is my screen component. Main is the landing page. This I'll say that show list. And here I'll put it up as add. So now I have 3 pages where page 1 will be the main page. This is my listing page and this is where my adding page. I got 3 pages. Now if I select my application and I go to start screen, I can always say that SCR main, this will always be the landing page. So whenever I'm going to play my application, the app will always start from the landing page there. I don't have to manually come and start that particular page. So because I selected my application and selected the start screen property. Okay, so this start screen property did what? It forced the application, then whenever it starts, it has to start with the main page there. Okay, now let's do something. We will add something here, but before that, let's get a component created. So there are two ways of creating a component. One, the programmatic way, using in the Power Apps component framework, PCF, asking the Node.js developers to create it for you. Or I can do something with a manual design here, reusable code. So what a component is? Component is simply a reusable layout that you can utilize on multiple pages. So I'll just give it a name. I'll call it up as branding. And on this component, I'm just going to add insert a text label. And here, I'll just set the text label. Here, I'll change the welcome to. NGDC. I can type it here also, the text property of this. Welcome to NGDC. At the same time, I also have an option. I can say that, okay, add to it whatever is a currently logged on user dot full name. So this app becomes customized. Whomsoever is going to launch the app, this will be added to that respective user's name here. This will be with your ampersand symbol to concatenate it here. So all we will do is we'll just simply add this user.fullname, or you can put it into a variable and then combine that variable in here. So all we are doing is we are just adding in. Okay. What does this squiggly means? If you are getting in this red kind of line under any code, it simply means that there is an error in the code. You don't have to worry about it. I can just simply drop it here and say that, explain me this formula. And it says that displays the text followed by the full name of the current logged on user. Okay, but why is it not working? Because we are trying to do what? We are simply using in two textual values and trying to do it with a summation symbol. The correct method is I should be using in. So what we'll do in Excel? We are going to use a concat function or concatenate. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what we do in Excel.
Concatenate.
Concatenate. Done. So concatenate whatever is the username plus this. Okay, now we got this thing working for us. And the text is here. So welcome to NGDC 𝑽𝒊𝒗𝒆𝒌. Okay, simple. You can make in the changes, change the font size and color and do everything here. Okay. And this is where our component size is, and that's where the label is. I want to use it. What we'll do is we'll just simply go back to our screen. Wherever I want to use that component, I'll drop this list. And here, now I'm going to use what? Branding. So here we got our own custom component. So on whichever screen you want to add, you got your branding component here. Just simply put it. Now, do I need to adjust the size and height, everything here? Not necessary. I'll just select this branding component, drop the list here and say width. In the width parameter, I'll say that parent.width. Whatever is the width of your parent canvas, automatically adjust it according to that. So I need not to make any changes here. Whatever was there is automatically coming in here. I want to add something. Okay, this is where screen container. I'll put from here, say text label. You can add the text directly. It's always a good practice to follow in like what components you want to use. Say enter name. Likewise, next to it, I want to have a text input component. So notice that this is coming top and bottom. You can just simply go in and change the layout to horizontal. Select the control and here change the layout, horizontal or vertical. When I say vertical, everything will be one by one like this. When I say horizontal, the controls will be placed side by side. All I did is I just simply clicked on this, and updated the component. Likewise, you have various components that you can add, but what we wanted is we wanted to have in the navigation also added on here. Okay. So for navigation purpose, I'll say that insert button. That's where we have a button. I'll change the name to show records, taking me to the second page. We'll add one more button. And this one is supposed to take me to add records. And this is where what I need to do is I need to make a call to these two lists. So I'll just come up here. Let's say we keep it vertical, side by side. So I want that when I click on this show records, it should take me to the screen show list. And when I click on add records, it should take me to the screen add. On both these screens, I'll just do one thing. Add one component, left arrow. And here I'll say that, notice the moment I selected this arrow, what got changed on here? It's not a property. This is a method. Anything that begins with on is a method. So I say on select, what it has to do is I clicked here and on select do what? Wherever you came from, just go back there. Wherever you came from, whatever screen you jump from, just go back to that screen. For the sake of this demo, I'll just simply add in a text label here. And on this text label, I'm going to place an entry, add record. And let's just increase the size to 34. That's the add record page. Let me just copy it. And this is the show screen. Here again, we'll do the same thing. Left arrow. You can add this onto your component also, so that when you bring the component, you get the left and back, all those things automatically added. Here again, all I'm doing is the same thing. Go back from wherever you came here. And this, we will say that list records. Okay. See, presently I'm on this, but if I'm going to play, notice only this page gets played on. But when you say go to your app and start the on screen, it begins from here. So I'll be saying play this app. Now I have two buttons. Show record. Why it's not taking me to that? Can anyone guess why it is not taking me to those two pages?
I think
Because we have not asked
added
it to
condition.
do. Yes, because we have not added any action to it. We have added the action only to the previous. So what we have to do is we have to add a navigation here. I'll say show records, on select, simply do one thing, navigate. Now where to navigate? The screen, show list. How you want to navigate? You have the navigation transitions available. So I say that transition cover right. Okay. Similarly, I'll go in here, add records. On select is nothing. Here I'll say that navigate. And this time I'm going to do a navigation to show list. Again, the type of transition you want to use. Done. Now, if I go back in here, play our app once again, this time I'm expecting to go to the list records. Click on this. We click on this. So that's simple navigation working for us. Okay. This is a very basic thing. What we did is here, we didn't wrote any specific code. We got in the page generated, we got in the screens generated, and all it did is it was simply showing me the records, adding the records. Now, if I want to actually add the records on the other two containers, how we can do it? We go to the show list. Okay. Here we'll do what? Insert, and we need to add in edit form component. And the form component which we are adding, this needs to connect to a data source. So that data source is coming from our SharePoint. And that's a SharePoint site. Which SharePoint site? From our applications. It will be giving you a listing to your connections. So all we need to do is we need to add in a form here, and data source of this form will be connected to your SharePoint sites. And from the SharePoint site, whichever list you are going to use, it is connecting to that. Apart from SharePoint site, you can see in the notations, the layout of it. You want to show the records vertically or horizontally. I'll say I want to show the records horizontally. See here. Let me just get rid of that. This one. So based upon the card, based upon the source that we selected, it's showing me the listing of that records. And when I click on the form here, show list, I'm expecting to see that respective form being listed. But why no item is being displayed? Because you have not bound the data fields to anything here. So I select our form, go in here, SharePoint sites. Okay, but what are the views to be connected? Whatever the fields to be connected? That's where we are going to select in active SharePoint sites or a particular SharePoint site list you want to connect it here. So I'm expecting in a list. And if you explicitly want to make any selection of the fields, you get a listing of your fields from here. So whatever fields you want to add in, directly the fields are added into it. Okay. So that's how you do in a quick database fields. You connect to your source, you define in the basic navigations, and why it is no code, low code, because in this case, all we are doing is we are writing in the basic functions. So easiest way to remember the functions is start with the Copilot based application, get that ready. If you are not very much familiar with all the Power FX functions, take a note of how that respective action, how the new record, how the new things are having. Then we have so many things like we can maintain in the local collections. We maintain the collection and add the data firstly into a collection, and then from collections do in a patching to our SharePoint sites or to our Excel fields. Multiple options are there that we can do. Similarly, if in case, let's say if I add in, I'll just take in one more quick screen here. And here, if I say that I want to connect it to a vertical gallery. So when I say a gallery, this gallery component is mostly used in for listing the items. Examples of this gallery, you open your WhatsApp, what do you see? A vertical list, a vertical gallery. You open your Instagram, what do you see? A vertical gallery. You open your Amazon, what do you see? A vertical gallery. So vertical gallery is a good component when you want to get connected to listing of items. So here, if I click on this connectors, you will get to list of all the various connectors that are available to you. So like I said, you can connect to your Excel Online, you can connect to your Azure blob storage, all the Microsoft components, non-Microsoft components. Even you can get in the feeds from your Twitter. If you have WhatsApp APIs, you can integrate to that WhatsApp APIs also. 463 out of box, and with custom connectors, it can be increased up to 1600 sources of data. So Canvas application can get the data from literally any place. Literally from any place you can get the data. So if in case, let's say I'm taking in from Excel. So I'm taking in, let's say from the Excel environment. So this is where it's now going to ask me to select in my Excel file. And that Excel file, so if I'm selecting in an Excel file, what is the mandate to it? Can anybody tell me? What is the prerequisite for pulling the data from an Excel file? The prerequisite is that file must have data converted into a table format. Notice, I said connect from Excel. So when I said connect from Excel, it is going to the Excel locally on your machine. And this will not be auto refreshing till the time you do not have a on-premises gateway. But when you have an on-premises gateway, you will be able to connect it. Otherwise, you can connect to your Excel online to your respective account. Just select that. You will get a list of all your Excel files. Okay. And from here, you get connected to your file and list all your data from those files there. I believe I have not stretched over the time.
No, that's fine, Vivek.
Okay. So let me just see like how quickly it can pull up the Excel files from my account there.
Hello Vivek, I'm having a small query. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Please ask your questions.
Like we are having Power Automate as well, right? So when we are having Power Automate, is it possible to like automate we are having Teams application? So at the
Yes.
specific time, we need to keep as a out of office. So we are doing in a manual way. So is it possible that we can do the automate like at that time, specific time every day? It should be go to the out of office. At every time we are going to schedule out of office and we are keeping on it. So is it possible that if we can automate that process?
Yes, sure, you can.
Okay.
In that
Okay.
case,
Thank you.
what you will have to do is, see, if you recall in Power Automate, we have 4 types of flows. One is called up as a button flow. Second is a scheduled flow. Third is a triggered flow. And fourth is a desktop flow. You have to do what? You have to put in a scheduled flow there. A flow that will run at a point, and then from that point onwards, whatever mails come, it will be automatically sent up as out of office.
Thank you for confirming this.
Between this time to this time. So let's say if my office gets over at 2100 hours, so anything, if the mail received is beyond 2100 hours and before 900 hours, then in that case, this is an out of office schedule.
Thank you for confirming.
That would be coming from here. You have this Power Automate. When you go to this new flow, it asks you like what type of flow you want to create. A flow that will be triggered in response to an action, like a form is submitted, a record is inserted into a Dataverse, a new update has happened, service updates, multiple flow options are here. So one is a triggered flow, like create from blank, add an item to SharePoint and send an email, send approval and follow up, notify a user, Outlook based. You have multiple templates. Or you can start from a blank where you say like what type of flow you want to create. So when you say go to blank, this is what you are creating. You are creating in a triggered flow. This will be coming up as a trigger, Power Apps V2. So just add in your steps. This is where you will be saying that Outlook. So Outlook 365 actions when a mail arrives. Now for every mail that is coming in, so generate an event, send a response. I say that send and response. When now you can add in a condition before it. So before it, I can say that add an action, and that action would be a control, and in control, it would be a condition. And that condition would be your time. So if current time is beyond 2100 hours, send this. If it is this, allow me this. So that kind of conditional evaluation would be happening in here. Any other questions?
No, we are good.
Team,
Should we
if
move
any
on to the
questions,
yeah?
Team, if any questions, please feel free to ask. Vivek is here. He will be able to answer all of your questions. Yeah, I think we are good. So yes, go ahead, Vivek.
Yep, sure. So are we good with all the questions?
Yes. No
Okay.
more questions from the chat. Only one or two questions. Already you answered while explaining the session.
Yeah. So I believe we talked about the gallery, the controls, user information, controls on the each app screen. And this is where you can get in the more details about the Canvas apps. We have time.
Thank you.
Or we are out of time.
No, we have time. No problem. We can go ahead.
What does everyone say? Anything specific in Power Apps you want to ask me? Just ask in the questions there. Because I tried to cover up all these things. The queries, the quiz.
Let me share your. Yeah. So yes, we can go ahead with quiz. So Ajay, can you do that?
Sure, Suparna.
Sure. I'm releasing the screen here.
Yeah.
Is my screen visible, Suparna?
Yes.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Team, requesting everyone, please scan this QR code and fill your details in the first tab, and the second tab you will get the 5 questions. You can answer the questions, and let me share the form link also, whoever is attending from your mobile devices. So I shared the form link, and this is a clickable link also. You can click on that link and you can submit your answers in the quiz. So we'll get back to you. Whoever is the winner from our team, you will get a call. So let's say, let's keep 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. I hope I'm expecting you all filled the form and answered all questions. Anyone is facing any issue while filling the quiz, please do let us know. Bhuvneshwar, so just now I edited, just can you refresh it? Actually, this is a time bound form. Just now I extended 10 more minutes to the form for accepting the responses. You can please go through that. Yes, we are getting the responses. Yes, good, very good. Yeah, I think I would like to say heartfelt thank you to Vivek for accepting my request and taking the session in NDAC. Also, I would like to say my big thanks to all of the participants, those who are attended this weekend evening. And already I shared a Vivek LinkedIn profile in the chat box. If you have any questions related to any data carrier like Power BI, Power Apps, and like what he mentioned in the starting of the video, you can please reach out to him. He will be helpful to clear your all doubts. So thank you so much, Vivek.
Thank you too also for inviting me here. It's really a pleasure to connect with all of you, and happy Diwali in advance.
Yeah, wish you a happy, safe Diwali. Happy Diwali all. Yeah, thank you, team.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Suparna and team.
Yeah, thank you.